All right. Hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because today we're going to be talking about 3 new funds that I'm looking to potentially get invested into in order to diversify my investment portfolio. So what I want to talk about today is a little bit of a buy that I just made, not in terms of a new ETF, but really just a new position, which is DLR.TO. Basically, I'm going to be converting about $3,000 Canadian to American dollars, which I will then look to buy, maybe not ULTY, but kind of diversify my investments, and I might look to get into some Roundhill ETFs. So what I want to talk about are some of those Roundhill ETFs today in this video, because I haven't really touched on these ones in a while, even though on YouTube there's been a lot of talk about Roundhill, XDTE, QDTE, and RDTE, and I want to see exactly how they're performing compared to their underlying indexes, and then as well kind of what their dividends are, how they work, and everything like that. So if you guys find this video interesting, we're up to 5,819 subscribers, 379 subscribers in the past 28 days. I apologize. My last video was 2 days ago. I was looking to post a video every single day. I unfortunately had a pretty decent hit to my, not health, but something like that over the weekend, so I was unable to do it. But yet, we are coming back and we're coming strong, and we're not going to let that affect us. We're going in RDTE, XDTE, and all of the above. We're going to be checking out these Roundhill investments, and let's talk a little bit about them, starting with RDTE. Cool. RDTE is a small cap, 0 date to expiry cover call strategy ETF. Cool. So 0 date to expiry. If I'm being honest, guys, I don't know much about options. That's why I invest in Yieldmax, and that's why I might look to invest in Roundhill, and this is why I don't write my own options. I have a basic understanding about options. I know that whether you're doing a put, you're going short, or you're doing a call, you're going long. You have option premiums, of course, which are paid out based upon volatility, but I'm not by any means an option expert. What I have here is it basically says that this one, RDTE, for example, seeks to provide overnight exposure to the small cap index being the Russell 2000, and generate income each morning by selling out of the money 0 date to expiry calls on the small cap index. Cool. So calls for one going long, and we have selling out of the money. Cool. Basically, they're looking to have the market pretty much stay flat. This is if they were to sell calls on a 6-month expiry with a $5 premium. This is kind of my understanding. When you're looking at the strike price, let's say they set the strike price to $50, which is what they have in this example. When the strike price stays at $50, they make a profit because they're collecting that $5 premium. Now the stock price goes up, they lose that premium. I'm not super amazing with options. As you can see here, it looks as if the stock was to go below $50, then they would just collect that premium and they wouldn't be taking any kind of capital loss. But what I would say is this is why I invest in ETFs like Roundhill, and I don't do my own options. And what I look more so is I look at the stock price, I look at the dividends paid, and I look at how it's performing compared to the index. When we look at the past 3 months and we're looking at, let's say, XDTE, and I'm going to bring that up here because what I want to do here is I want to compare its dividends and its share price to the actual index. So we have XDTE here. This is our first Roundhill investment. So you can see here at the 3-month, we're looking at 0.08 in the negative. So basically we're setting break even for XDTE, and the corresponding kind of index here is the S&P 500. And the same time, we're looking at about a 5% increase. Well, XDTE has paid out some pretty decent dividends. They pay out about 18% every single year. But as you guys know, they pay out weekly dividends. So just kind of taking this last dividend, we have 21 cents. So what we'll do here is we'll go 0.21. And if we're looking at the past 3 months for XDTE, we're looking at about 12 dividends or so, because we'll say about 4 weeks in a month, that'd be 12 dividends. We have a share price of $52.80. But let's see exactly what we get here. 21 times 12, boom. Okay, we have 2.52. 2.52. What we're going to do is we're going to divide this by the share price, and this is going to tell us exactly what kind of percent we've received over these past 3 months. 5280 divided by 52.8, boom. So it looks like 4.77. So it looks like we are right on track with the S&P 500. We received roughly about 4.77% from Roundhill XDTE, and we, in terms of the market, have generated, you could see here, the S&P 500 is just under about 5%. So we're sticking to it with 4.77%. But this is great because with our Roundhill investments, they are for income. They give us weekly income. So does Yieldmax, for example, now. So what we're doing is we're not necessarily looking for a 5% capital gain. It's good that, you know what, we're able to stay flat. Really, we'd like it to appreciate in value, which is what XDTE has done, which is why I'm very interested in it. But at the same time, we need it to keep up with the overall market. And it has done that, but just by paying out dividends, which we could then reinvest, get more shares, and compound a little bit faster. Cool. So that's XDTE. Then we have QDTE. QDTE is on, I would assume this to be the NASDAQ 100. And when I kind of compare it to the NASDAQ, you could see here for the 3 months, it's gone down about 4.85%. And the NASDAQ itself, NASDAQ Composite, has gone up about 2.75%. So what's going on here? We go to QDTE. I want to check out their website here. Let's see exactly how QDTE is doing in terms of paying out their dividends. And when I go all the way up here, I find QDTE, we have a 31.31% yield. Let's just kind of go over here, paying about 31 cents per week. Boom. So I'll go 31 times 12. Looking at the past 3 months, we could potentially do this for each ETF. Boom. So we'll go here, divided by 42.58 to get our, this is to get our total return, 58. Boom. So we're looking at about 8.7%. How does this compare to the NASDAQ? So over the past 3 months, the NASDAQ is up about 2.75%, and Roundhill QDTE is down about 4.85%. Well, you know what? We subtract 4.85 from this. Oh, so we're going to have to go 0.0485. Boom. We're looking at 3.88%. This is actually doing better than the NASDAQ. And although it looks in turn worse because we're down almost 5%, we're up almost 3% here, really, with our dividends being paid out, we're at 3.88% return, and that is above the NASDAQ 100. So QDTE is performing fairly well. It's actually beating the market, which is exciting to see, because really with these 3 positions, I might look to do about $1,000 in each. Not really sure what I'm doing, but this is in my margin account. And as you can see here, I recently invested. This is not my total profit to loss. This is my net deposit. I deposited about $3,000, which I converted to DLR.TO. Now we have our last one, which is RDTE. RDTE over the past 3 months, 4.81%, almost 5%. And we can see here the Russell itself, IWM, has only gone up about 1.35%. Now let's add up some dividends, because this is very interesting to see. So what I'll do is I want to go to RDTE. Boom, we got it. We up. You can see the dividend to be determined, so we can determine that. That's no problem at all. So what we'll do here is we'll go down to their latest distribution, which was 30 cents. Boom, we got 0.30 times 52 to get us our kind of like total for the year. And what we'll do, divided by 44.22. Divided by 44.22. Boom. So they have a 35% dividend yield. Now what we want to do is we want to figure out, okay, exactly how much they paid out in the past 3 months. So we got 0.30 times 12. This is how much RDTE paid out in the past 3 months. $3.60 divided by 44.22, 44.22. Boom. 8.1%. Plus, we need to add the percent that it gained, which was 4.81. So we'll go 0.0481. Awesome. 13%. 13% compared to the Russell 2000 IWM, roughly 1.5%. So that is how the Roundhill investments have been producing. They've actually been producing fairly well. You could see here that all ETFs, XDTE, we have QDTE, and RDTE are currently beating their underlying markets. I don't know if that's just because they've been trending up recently. I haven't seen them in a downtrend, but I will say that is very exciting to see as I potentially look to add them to my new margin portfolio. So, wow, that was a little bit of a pleasant surprise, just something to kind of diversify. And one main thing, the reason why I have Yieldmax up here is because Yieldmax generally does synthetic cover calls on individual stocks, like we see Apple here, Nvidia, Amazon. And the one reason why I'm looking to potentially buy Roundhill is because they invest in ETFs. They invest in things like SPY. Sorry, not SPY, but the S&P 500. They also have the NASDAQ. They also have the Russell 2000. These are, in my opinion, more stable because they're indexes. They're not individual stocks. I watch a guy, Akinton, and he mentions he only likes to invest in indexes because when you invest in individual stocks, like a lot of Yieldmax ETFs, you are subject to a lot of the downside of a stock. But since these are indexes, they don't move as heavy to the downside, and they are in better favor of these cover call strategies, which I definitely do think, as we're looking here and we're seeing that each Roundhill ETF here, XDTE, RDTE, QDTE, they're all beating their underlying indexes, which is what we want to see. And they're producing fantastic income at levels like 30% per year. So if this does sound good, please do remember to subscribe. We're up to 5,819 subscribers. So I want to say thank you very much for sticking with me and enjoying this video, enjoying these new ETFs with us. And if you want to see more videos like this, just make sure to comment down below and I'll get to you. All right, cool. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do, and I will see you guys in the next video.